All news since 6 o'clock, Louisville's big investment from beefing up police to kickstarting downtown Louisville with more improvements and money. Metro Council opens up the wallet tonight by approving the mayor's $1.2 billion budget this evening. Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us on the WHAS 11 Night Team. I'm Doug Proffitt. WHAS 11 Night Team's Clarice Shaley has the vote, also made possible with help from a $50 million surplus.
Just before Metro Council's vote on next year's budget, a rally to support Louisville's Metro Animal Care employees.
We had one adoption animal coordinator who literally sells her plasma twice a week to make her bills. We have people that are struggling to feed their families, and they're coming in every day and putting in the work to make sure that the public and these animals are taken care of.
They're joined by others inside.
Of course, the budget tells us what our priorities are.
This program needs to be a priority for our city.
Metro Council approves the budget but makes technical changes, meaning correctly identifying items. So basically, they're agreeing to the original budget presented by Mayor Greenberg. It includes the first new fire station in 15 years after this original engine number 23 wasn't suitable for women, plus money to hire bigger police, fire, and EMS classes, affordable housing, and continuing to infuse libraries and parks with upgrades.
I do not believe that this is fiscally responsible, and I believe that it is a harm to our community.
District 6 Council member J.P. Lininger proposed an amendment to the budget which included significant cuts in the police budget to support public transportation, access to cheaper groceries, and other social programs. The amendment didn't pass.
This budget does not offer a vision, not even one that I disagree with, so much as it addresses challenges at the margins.
But the funding passed by a wide margin.
Again, after a lot of conversation, feel like we've arrived at a budget that captures the desires, the priorities.
A new drone first responders program applauded by Police Chief Paul Humphrey as a game changer. And 3 areas of town get $3 million each. The South, East, and West ends get business development money. For WHAS 11 Night Team, I'm Clarice Shaley on your side.
In a statement tonight, Mayor Craig Greenberg, who is, by the way, running for re-election next year, celebrated the passage, saying in part, this budget is focused on our top priorities, speeding up our progress and enhancing our city government's performance. We have incredible momentum, and we continue moving forward in a new direction.
I've decided to run for the United States Senate to replace Mitch McConnell here in Kentucky and finally bring this seat back to the people.
Alongside Donald Trump Jr. there on the right of your screen, it's official. Republican Lexington businessman Nate Morris, who says he grew up in Louisville, announced his candidacy tonight to replace Mitch McConnell in the U.S. Senate. Morris making his announcement on the podcast of Donald Trump Jr. this evening, as Morris is also hoping to get the endorsement of the president. Well, Morris joins the primary running against current Republican Kentucky Congressman Andy Barr of Lexington and former Attorney General Daniel Cameron of Louisville. Morris joins the Senate race with far less name recognition than his main rivals, but he's painting himself as the anti-McConnell candidate. Morris slamming Cameron for his failed run for governor and then calling Andy Barr's praise of Trump fake.
And Andy Barr is the kind of guy that after your father leaves office, you know, he's going to return to being that establishment moderate squish that continues to go along to get along in the swamp. And that's not what we needed.
Barr is already hitting back against Morris tonight, saying in a statement, Nate Morris is pretending to be MAGA now, but he can't run from all the liberal trash in his past. Kentucky conservatives won't fall for this fraud, end quote. On the Democratic side, Pamela Stevenson of Louisville is the only candidate to announce a run so far. Today, we asked Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear if he would support her run.
We are very early in primaries that won't even conclude until the middle of next year. I plan to see who gets into which of those races.
Beshear says he does plan to help whoever the Democratic candidate ends up being. The wide open race was set in motion when Mitch McConnell, the longest serving Senate party leader in U.S. history, announced in February that he will not seek re-election in 2026 and will retire when his current term ends. Mitch McConnell is 83 years old. Now to the U.S. strikes on Iran, the escalating debate over just how much damage that Saturday night raid really pulled off. Iran's supreme leader now responding publicly, calling the U.S. operation a failure and accusing President Trump of gross exaggeration. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is standing by the president, dismissing early intelligence from his own department.
Anyone with, two eyes, some ears, and a brain can recognize that kind of firepower with that specificity at that location and others is going to have a devastating effect.
Senators from a classified U.S. briefing on the bombing are divided along party lines, with Republicans backing the strikes and Democrats casting doubt on the president's claims. President Trump is suggesting a meeting with Iran could happen within days, but the White House is saying that nothing is scheduled so far. Now to Bowling Green, Kentucky tonight. Tomorrow we'll wrap up the first few days of the final Crystal Rogers trial that started this week. It's expected to run until July 8th. The defense presenting phone records revealing murder suspect Brooks Houck tried to contact Crystal Rogers with 3 phone calls and a text message after she was reported missing. WHAS11's Alexandra Goldberg and photojournalist Aspen Hester catch us up from the courtroom.
Former lead detective John Snow testifying that a phone call from Nick Houck to Brooks Houck in the interrogation room is what led police to suspect Nick for the first time in the case of Crystal Rogers.
The way that I look at it is I'm innocent, I ain't done nothing wrong.
Houck's brother advising him to up and leave the examination.
I know you told me innocent people have got jammed up, but if you're telling me to leave, I'll get up and leave.
Prosecutor Shane Young seen here outside of the courtroom during a break, earlier leaving jurors with an early indication of what he thinks is a family affair. But that wasn't the only phone call brought up in court today. A cross-examination revealed Houck's initial attempts to get in touch with Rogers. 3 phone calls, 2 on July 4th and 1 on July 5th, and a text message revealed through phone records. Everyone is worried sick. Please call me back. Houck's text to Rogers, the sole message shown to the jury from July 5th. The day before, Houck's first call to Rogers rings at 9:06 a.m., hours after Houck's wakes up in a scene in surveillance video driving to the Houck family farm. The second call, 12:18, around lunchtime. The third call clocking in at 6:41 p.m. the next day. But Houck's attempts to contact Rogers continues through messages to Rogers' family. Will you try to get a hold of Crystal for me? Sent to her relative. He messages another cousin. Is Crystal with you? More witnesses back to back take the stand, including Danny Singleton, Houck's friend and former employee, who says Houck's mother Rosemary came up to him at a home construction site. Quote, "It was over Crystal. She wanted to find someone to get rid of her. I told her around this town and with money, you can get anything done." But he assures the jury he never acted on it, and he never told police. "Kept it to myself," is what he told the courtroom. The first few witnesses and many cross-examinations to come as the Commonwealth's witnesses take the stand. In Bowling Green, Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS11 on your side.
Also new tonight, it's been 2 days testimony now, and much of it has been focused on Brooks Houck. So we asked WHAS11 legal analyst attorney Nick Mudd about Joseph Lawson, also on trial there, sitting right next to Brooks Houck, charged with conspiracy to commit murder and tampering with physical evidence, but he's hardly been mentioned.
And you know, the defense with Kevin Coleman and Robert Boyd, they've just kind of sit back and not ask him any questions, really because they haven't had a reason to. I mean, their client, really nothing's been provided to the jury so far, you know, on this today of trial and yesterday that really implicates him at this point.
Mudd, during our WHAS11 Plus 30-minute special, said he believes because this case is built around circumstantial evidence, the prosecution is slowly building a puzzle that will reveal itself in just the days to come. You can watch that special report from tonight. It airs right after this newscast. The full breakdown of today's new information revealed in the courtroom. You can see it by downloading the free WHAS11 Plus app. That's where you'll be watching it on your TV and watch for free again in just a few minutes. And happening all new since 6, ending DEI programs at U of L, diversity, equity, and inclusion. President Donald Trump ordered it nationwide, and Kentucky Republican lawmakers recently made it happen here. And it starts tomorrow. WHAS11 Night Team's Jose Alonso spoke exclusively one-on-one with the newly hired U of L president.
That is why we have to fight! The University of Louisville is known for its diversity.
Fight! Education! So much so, students have protested the dismantling of diversity, equity, and inclusion on their campus and across the nation. It's an effort prompted by both President Donald Trump through executive action and the Kentucky General Assembly through legislation.
House Bill 4 was passed by the legislature, and it relates around DEI programs and had regulations that we as a state institution had to be in compliance with.
The end of DEI initiatives is a dilemma the new president of U of L, Jerry Bradley, has been navigating in his first 3 months since being appointed.
We have a diverse faculty body, we have a diverse student body, and one of our strengths is being a diverse and inclusive campus. And we will continue to be a diverse and inclusive campus, and we are going to support everyone in their space.
Programs like the LGBT Center on campus are not going anywhere, and they still plan to celebrate Black History Month and other heritage months as well.
It's related to making sure that we didn't have programs that were targeting one specific group at the expense of another. We have to be aware that there's federal, legislation, there are all these things. And I think, the laws of the land impact us all in our work.
This will be applied when considering future admissions and scholarships. Bradley says it's taken a lot of work to pivot and to be in compliance with House Bill 4.
Are we going to be quiet while legislators in Frankfurt are trying to take away our rights?
He's aware of how students may feel about this change and says he hears them and to not panic. At the University of Louisville, Jose Alonso, WHAS 1119 on your side.
And the U of L board plans to release an official letter about this change coming tomorrow. The other breaking story for Louisville today, GE's big investment back into Appliance Park. They are bringing home a laundry line, we're talking washing machines, from China right back to Louisville, and saying that the current economic and policy climate is the reason, a reference to Donald Trump's tariffs. It also means more than 800 jobs will be filled by local workers. Kevin Nolan, Appliance Park CEO in Louisville, talked about it in Frankfurt today with the governor.
Right now, many companies are struggling to make big decisions like this. And what we're announcing today, it's a bold one, and one that it will shape our future, the future in the state, and the future in our city.
The new production lines open in 2027. A $4 million cash incentive from the city of Louisville helped bring this here and was approved by the Metro Council tonight.